No news is good news. Is that true? I suppose it comes from the fact that if you don't hear from a family member or a friend for a long time, then you assume all is well. Nothing's happened to them. They're not sick. They haven't had an accident. So it's kind of no news is good news in that sense. But I want to talk about it in a different sense today. Things come to my attention. Obviously, what's happened very recently with this Charlie Kirk shooting in America. It just got me thinking about just news in general. I've always kind of thought this about like the news cycle. Like everything's bad news, obviously. Whether it's before the internet came along, radio, television, newspapers, most of it is just bad stuff that's happening in the world. And I've never really been one to read news. I've never really been one to watch the news because it's just negative. It's very, very negative, and it just puts you in a negative state of mind. If you watch the news all the time, you just know about all the bad things that happen in the world that don't really affect you. I remember having a conversation with one of my friends, and they said, if you don't watch the news, you're not well informed, therefore you're ignorant. I was like, well, maybe I am ignorant yet, but they say ignorance is bliss. I actually think that's true. I think that sometimes the less you know about a lot of things in life, that the happier you are, the more in the moment that you are. Think about animals and babies, that they're not thinking about the past or the future or thinking about anything that's outside of their 1 meter square that they're sitting in, because they're in the present, in the moment, and they're happy. With the internet now, with social media, like everyone is just overly informed about everything. Overly informed. I've always said this about news. It doesn't actually affect your life. And whether you think I'm ignorant or not, if you switch off the news and don't watch the news for 6 months to a year, your life won't be no different. You might be less informed of what's going on in the world, but your little life is still the same. You're still going to go to work, still going to do the same things. If you've got kids, you've got family, you've got day-to-day tasks, you're earning money. Even if there's people say, oh, what about if there's changing the government, and what about if, things that affect you? But unless it directly affects your job, then what use is it to know that information? What use is it to know that somebody's just being shot at the other side of the world? All it does is causes outrage, it causes fear, it causes anger. And this is very clear over this Charlie Kirk thing of how the media responded. This was within a few hours of him being shot. And I was seeing online about how they were labeling the news, how they were selling it, the clickbait. It was like Trump ally Charlie Kirk, right-wing activist Charlie Kirk. So the first thing you think is they're putting you in a frame of mind of, am I on his side or against him? Do you know what I mean? They've put you on a side. You're not thinking, oh my God, poor guy, poor family. What they want to do is put you on a side straight away of either real sadness and anger, the fact that it's happened to one of your own, or happiness that it's happened to him. One of my friends said to me about social media, he said on Twitter, he's seen this live shooting 20 times in the last day. And he doesn't even know who this guy is. He doesn't even know, he's never heard of him, but it's getting pushed down his throat on Twitter. We go online now, you go on Google, you're getting fed news, you go on Twitter, social media, Instagram are trying to push threads down your throat every time you go on there as well. It's just too much. And people are getting so wound up and enthralled into the ins and outs of what's going on in the world when it doesn't actually affect them. They can't influence it, and it doesn't affect their day-to-day life. So what's the point? When there used to be local news, for example, when you used to get a local paper, that was obviously a lot of bad stuff as well, because it's trying to get you to buy the paper, but it was mixed with a little bit of other stuff, what was going on, developments that are happening locally, things, local people who've done something good, they kind of mixed it up. So when you got the local paper, you go through it and you're well informed about your local area. It's very easy for it to be a very negative thing watching the news, because you see it and you're like, oh, the world's fucked. People are getting shot left, right and centre, girls are getting raped, kids are getting molested. But what I try and remember is, it's hard not to think like that. It's hard not to think negatively like that. What you've got to try and remember is, I find to end this on a positive note, is the reason it's news is because it's not common. It's not a regular occurrence. If it was regular occurrence, then it wouldn't be news. So have some faith in humanity. The fact that it's not the norm. The reason why you're seeing it on the news is because they're reporting on it, because it's shocking, because it's new, because it's different. It's not the norm. And the world is good. And I think holy people are good. But I would just advise people who consistently consume information day on day. I don't think it's good for you. I don't think it's healthy for you. And it would just be better to focus on what you can control in your own life.